Hey, good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. So yesterday I spoke to you about Jethro, who was Moses' father-in-law, and the first one to actually recite the words Baruch Hashem, blessed be God. But today I want to touch on the rest of the verse, because Jethro goes on to say, blessed be God, asher hitzil eschem miyad Mitzrayim umiyad Paray. Blessed is the Almighty who saved you from the hands of Egypt and from the hands of Pharaoh. And then he continues, asher hitzil esa'am, who saved the people from under the arm of Egypt. And the question all the commentaries ask is, the verse is repetitive. First he says that saved you from Egypt and Pharaoh, and then he says again that saved you from under the arm, from under the servitude of Pharaoh. And the question is, what's the duplicate here? What's the duplicity? And I saw a beautiful commentary that says like this, that what Jethro was thanking God was for two things. The first thing is that God saved the Jews physically from under the enslavement of Pharaoh, from under the torture, from under the dictatorship of Pharaoh. But the second thing is, he thanked God a second time, saying thank God that he also saved them from the cultural promiscuity, from this enslavement in mind and action of who Pharaoh was. There was one thing to be slaves to Pharaoh and go free. There was another thing to be slaves to Pharaoh and go free and still be the Jewish people with the values and the morals and the culture we have without stooping to the level of the Egyptians. And it's an important thing, because now we're living in a time that there's been the tremendous Jewish awakening since October 7th. And everyone is actively trying to fight anti-Semitism and Jewish hate, if it be on social media or in their schools or in higher education or in their communities, wherever it may be. But I think it's critical to remember that it's not enough to just fight anti-Semitism. Yes, Jethro thanks God first for saving us from physical annihilation of Pharaoh. But we also need to embrace our Judaism of who we are, the Torah, the values that God gives us. This Shabbat and Shul, we're going to read the 10 Commandments, which God gave the Jewish people over 3,300 years ago. And the question is, how do we engage the Jewish people to not just fight anti-Semitism, but to embrace their Judaism and to engage with it? And we've seen a tremendous renaissance spiritually too. But how do we cultivate it and make sure that it continues? You know, a couple weeks ago, Gurney and I went to hear a lecture by Dara Horn, who wrote People Love Dead Jews. She actually was a fiction writer, but she turned to write this book and became one of the most sought-after speakers on anti-Semitism. And although she says the book is, so to speak, a shocker in the title, it's important to remember that, she says, that most people in America, the first time they find out about Jews is about dead Jews, when they read about the Holocaust. And in fact, many children in school, when they learn about it, will ask their teacher, are there any Jews that are still alive that we could know about? Because all they read about is how we were killed and how we died. And she writes how in even the remembrance of the Holocaust, they try to take away all our Judaism from us, our things that make us distinctive and unique. And she said the greatest answer to anti-Semitism is to actually live like a Jew, to be proud of who you are, of your culture, of your values, of the way we dress, of the way we act, of the things that are important to a Jew. Live as a Jew. It's not about dying as a Jew. And I think that's the message of Jethro when he says, blessed is God who saved us not just physically from Egypt, but saved us spiritually. May we all continue this spiritual awakening while we fight anti-Semitism and embrace our Judaism in whichever way we can to connect more. And in that way, we will be victorious over all those who seek to hurt us and annihilate us. Have a great day.